guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be reviewing The Green Mile by Stephen King. Full disclaimer, I haven't seen the movie yet. This is purely just the book. Wow. So first of all, I'm going to do the spoiler-free section and then we'll get into the spoilery section in a minute. I'll totally let you know though. Don't worry. So just to give you like a quick synopsis, this is basically Paul Edgecombe narrating his year of 1932 when he was a prison guard on the E block, which is the death penalty block. So he's dealing with convicts that are going to face the death penalty, and he also he doesn't operate it, but he takes part in the electric chair executions, or Sparky, like he calls it. So essentially, the story is him telling about a couple inmates, but one in particular is John Coffey, who is he really just like talks about how he affected his life and such, and it's very well written. And it's kind of like, it's first person, you really get into it. I really like first person writing. So the other thing that's different about this book, if you don't know, this book is actually 5 books. The copy I have is all 5 books put together. Plus I have a little foreword and afterword by Stephen King in here. So by the way, this edition is the Orion Publishing Company's edition, this one. I'm not about to spoil anything, don't worry, but there's like illustrations and things in this one. Well, there's one illustration at the beginning of each like book, right? So what Stephen King explains in his foreword, which is really interesting, is that one thing that was suggested to him was to write like Charles Dickens and publish like 5 parts of the book, one after the other, essentially. And so the reason that is like a Dickensian thing is that Dickens used to write, basically, if you didn't know, back in the day, in the 1800s, people couldn't really afford books, especially back then. They were like nice, leather-bound, good quality stuff, you know? And so how Dickens wrote was that every week he would post 1 chapter in the newspaper. Oh, okay, hold on. I know he did this for Great Expectations. I don't know about his other books. I don't know if he did it for every book, but for Great Expectations anyway, he posted 1 chapter in the newspaper every week. And so the reason why writing like that is different is because every chapter, or every shorter book within the book, needs to be like its own little book. Like it has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, so that people will like have some like a hook or something at the end, so people are like, oh, I want to read next week's chapter, you know? And then the next week's chapter has to have some type of like reminder, real quick reminder of what happened last time, right? And so Charles Dickens wrote like that, and I think like after all of his chapters came out for Great Expectations, like he sold the book. It's a pretty awesome way of writing, if you ask me. I could definitely tell. So anyway, just to give you my spoiler-free review of this book, I was almost brought to the verge of tears a couple times, and then I kind of bawled at the end. This book gets the prize for best last sentence. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Also, I just wanted to say this, like, I feel like it's kind of different from other Stephen King books. I feel like this one is more, it's definitely not horror at all, but it's like 90% historical fiction and then 10% fantasy. Like, it's very well blended into real life and it doesn't feel weird at all, you know? So yeah, there is the end of my spoiler-free section. If you haven't read this book yet, see ya. Bye. Come back later, because you're always welcome back. Anyway, so, oh my gosh. Did you guys just freak out when Paul pulled out Mr. Jingles at the end? When he was talking to Elaine and he's just like, oh my gosh. Also, who else hates Percy with a passion? I could not believe how much, like, characters like Percy really piss me off because they're like, I totally hate this character, but also the book would be nothing without them. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was just like, ah! Anyway, multiple times. And yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah, Mr. Jingles. Also, yeah, every time when they were about to execute Delacroix is when I almost cried for the first time. And then John Coffey, obviously, when they it just got me, like, when they're talking about how they're about to execute him, and then Stephen King is like, and then, you know, X person died like this a couple years later, X person died like this a couple years later, and it just got to me how, like, he told how everyone else died before saying how John Coffey died. I'm almost crying just thinking about it. Oh my goodness. Stephen King is the only author that gets me to physically, like, react to the book I'm reading, you know? A lot of times I'll just be like, ooh, this is tense, or ooh, this is creepy, or whatever, but Stephen King, I'm like, ah! Yeah, anyway, so, 100% recommend. As you can see, I took, oh, I have many okay, I did a crappy flip through, but I have so many, annotations in here. I'm gonna cry just reading this again for you guys, but the last sentence, I swear, when he's like, we each owe one death. There are no exceptions, I know that, but sometimes, oh God, the Green Mile is so long. Oh, Stephen King stabbed me in the soul. Ooh, see, there we go. Oh my gosh. Man, oh man, but, oh, okay, well, I guess if you're still here, you already picked up this book. I was gonna say pick up this book. Anyway, yeah, so drop your comments down below. What did you think of this book? Like this video if you did, if you like see me cry, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!